Hey guys, it's Derek White with the Ambit Gift. I wanted to thank you guys for watching. Coach went over the invitation with us yesterday, and after you do the invitation, a lot of times you get objections, Coach. Will you kind of just walk us through objections, and I'll kind of give you one to start off with. I just don't have the time.
Well, the thing about objections are people are going to look at this one of two ways. They're either going to look at it as a business that they can't do, or they're not willing to give themselves permission to do. There's the two differences there. And a lot of times whenever you start getting a lot of these objections, just get them to be a customer of you. You don't need to drag that horse to water because it's going to end up at the glue factory, if you know what I mean. So, the time factor, we've been trained many times to understand, I know exactly the feel, felt, found, if you will. And for me personally, I can answer that. In my first 7 years involved with this company, I was coaching and teaching full time. So I could look at someone and say, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found is by turning off my radio and you turning on my Bluetooth, I could build an Ambit business, and it's done quite well for me and my family.
So the next objection that I normally get is, I just don't have the money.
Right. And, I have a couple for those, Derek, that's the reason I want to share this with you.
Right.
Following a system that's proven, how about a day that comes in your life where you never have to say that again?
Right.
Another one that I heard a long time ago, which I really respect and like, is if you told me you didn't have the money, I'm going to ask you, Derek, of course you're in the car dealership, but let's just go big on this. What's your dream car?
Oh man, a Ferrari.
A Ferrari. So Derek, here's the analogy or the scenario. If I told you tomorrow morning I'm going to pull up at your house with a key, what color Ferrari?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Got to stand out, Coach.
And what color interior?
Black.
That will stand out. So if I said, Derek, tomorrow I'm going to pull up at your house with a yellow, canary yellow, black interior Ferrari. I'm going to have the title and the keys. I'm going to hand them over to you at 10 o'clock in the morning. All you have to do is give me $100. Do you honestly think that between now and tomorrow at 10 a.m. could you come up with $100?
Oh, definitely.
See, people, what the situation with I don't have the money, it's just a random excuse. I've heard people look at other people and say, do you have a television? Because to really build a true business, you need to cut back on the amount of time you're spending in front of the television. Consider selling your television. I know people in this business that have picked up part-time jobs to earn that $100 to get started. And then the system that we have, don't ever forget, Derek, you don't have the money, we're going to put this on your card, and I can show you a way to get the money back on your card before you ever get the bill.
Right.
Don't forget that one. And then another one a lot of people say is, well, it's another one of those scams. It's a pyramid scheme. And my friends, the thing about a pyramid scheme is I don't think for a second, number one, that the Public Utilities Commission would license a company like Ambit Energy if it was a pyramid scheme. Number two, I tell people that I know on a very personal level, if they ask that question, I say to them, do you think, number one, that I would be involved in something like that? But more than that, do you think I would bring to you something that, exactly what do you consider to be a pyramid scheme? Mm-hmm. A lot of people usually say there's a guy at the top and you got to get people underneath and people underneath and people underneath. I say, okay, let's look at this. Okay, so you own your business, you have employees, and then they're like managers, and then they've got people underneath them, and they got people. So you're running a pyramid scheme yourself? And another one is the basic $1 bill. You've seen me do that. Wow. Take a $1 bill and turn it over and tell me what's on the back side, on the left side of the back of a $1 bill. You'll find a pyramid, which there's an explanation to the pyramid that I will not get into right now. Everybody, it's kind of like ears and eyes. Everybody can come up with a couple excuses, right? And then another one is, I need to talk to my spouse. And when you hear that, say, great, I don't blame you. When you share this with them, please let me answer their questions. Or if I brought Derek to a meeting and then the meeting's over with and he says, I need to go take this to my wife, I'd say, great, Derek. When can I come over and share this opportunity with both of you? Because the two of you work in one business together, then I'm going to tell stories about couples that are building an Ambit business together and the success that they have had. There are some incredible stories of couples involved in Ambit that are making significant income, legacy income. The objections, here's what it boils down to. Your level of belief, your conviction and your desires, your professionalism and your posture. The naysayers can take this dream away. The dream stealers can shut you down if you allow them to. If someone wants to come up with excuse after excuse or objection over objection, let them go, my friends. Walk away and say, who's next? Don't sweat the small stuff. My best friend in this world still tells me I'm going to end up in prison because of this business.
Yeah, they do want to tell you that, Coach. You've also done a video for us over the pyramid scheme, and I'll link that in the description above.
Oh, great.
And that way they can get a more in-depth view of that. Now, Coach, we're covering the objection. Do you honestly take that on as yourself, or what should you do at that point when you get that first objection?
Well, when people start asking questions, obviously you got the validation call. If you've done a good job of inviting them to take a look, if you've done a good job of sharing the plan, and whether it be at a business presentation through your magazine, the Success from Home magazine, whether it be through a one-on-one with the upline or a local business presentation, whenever those objections are kind of like questions.
Right.
And that's where the validation comes into play. And the validation to me is important. It seals the deal, for a terrible use of terms, but it really does. I see more people succeed at putting new business partners in using the validation call than not using the validation call. So in my opinion, you've already heard about the why. If your why don't make you cry, revisit it. If you don't have a written list, you're spinning yourself. It's like spinning on ball tires in mud. You're not going to go anywhere. The invitation, short, simple. Overcoming objections are so important, but you have a security blanket in a promoted person, your upline, who would be willing to do a call with you to speak to your guest about what their concerns are. The validation is very simple. For instance, if Derek was sharing the plan with someone and he called me up and says, Coach, I've got a gentleman who, when he gets off of work this evening at 8 o'clock, is going to be looking at my website. I'm going to call him at 8. Would you be available at 8:20, 8:25? Absolutely. So here's what's going to happen. Derek's going to call his colleague at 8 o'clock. He's going to put him on his website. His colleague may live in Midland. He may live in Yonkers, New York. He may live in Redding, California. He may live in Alberta, Canada. But all Derek's got to do, remember, is get them to take a look. So he puts them on his website. That's the presentation piece of it. He's done a great job of reaching out and inviting him to take a look. He's now presenting it to him. Once the gentleman gets through viewing the information that you pay for every month through your websites, and he starts spitting out questions or objections, then say something along the lines of, if Derek was going to do the call for me, I'd say, well, tell you what, Bob, that's a great point, and as I told you, I'm building this business and I'm working with an incredible team of leaders. One of them, as a matter of fact, I was speaking to earlier, and I know he's available. I appreciate what you're saying. I want to get his response to what you're asking me about. Hold on just a second. Boom, bring him in. I did not say, hey Bob, would you mind if I do? See, I'm in business mode right now. I'm trying to close a deal. I like what you're saying, Bob. I appreciate what you're asking, Bob. Those are great questions, Bob. However you want to do it. I'm working with an incredible group of leaders, and one of them I just spoke to briefly a little bit ago, and I know he's available. Hold on just a second. Boom, merge in the call. So I've got Derek waiting to do this validation for me. I pulled Derek in on the line. I conferenced Derek in. Hey, Bob, are you there? Yes. Bob, I've got a senior consultant who's part of Ambit Energy's Comma Club who's actually been featured in the internationally sold Success from Home magazine. He's won corporate awards and regional awards. Derek, this is a friend of mine, Bob, who is a dentist in Midland. Bob's just got through looking at our website. He was asking me the legitimacy of our company. He asked me that infamous question on whether or not we're a pyramid scheme. He was also wanting to know if Ambit's really able to spend or share or afford the kind of income to people that they're actually showing on these videos. Bob, Derek, Bob. I push mute on my phone. I'm done. I literally am setting my phone down. I'm turning my trust over to my upline leader or someone that I have learned to get to know in this business, and I'm giving them the full meal deal with my guest. They know what they're doing. I don't need to say another thing, guys. I hit mute. Set it down, and I start taking notes. It's a free clinic. It's a free seminar. Derek's going to share information with Bob that I need to know. I'm going to get a free seminar by listening to Derek, the expert, talk to Bob. Whenever they're at the very end of this call, Derek's going to send the call back to me. Derek's going to edify me at the end of the call. And then he's going to turn the call back over to me, where I'm going to ask Bob, now that Derek's answered all of your questions, and he did a great job of answering them, didn't he? He did get them all answered, correct? Well, Bob, I'd love nothing more than to partner with you in this journey. Are you ready to get started? Ask for a decision. If he still needs more information, find a local meeting to get him to. If he's not ready to get started, ask him to be your customer and do you a favor.
That's right, Coach.
And then always go back to him, because it's about timing. You know, Derek, the other day I signed up a business partner, and I would really like to share this with you. Not to brag, just to give you an idea of one little thing that I do every time I get told no. I shared the plan with a gentleman about 2 weeks ago, and he was a no. He was a no to doing the business. He was a no to being a customer. But I asked him what he liked about the company. His answers were all impressive, so I said, do you know someone? This may not be for you, but do you know someone who's looking for an opportunity like you've seen? And he goes, actually, I know a lady who does like home-based businesses. So he gave me her name. I called her, shared the information with her, and she was wrapped up in another one of those businesses that puts people on auto ships and sells motion, potion, lotion, hope on the road.
Right.
Good company, don't get me wrong. So I asked her, and she knew someone. A guy that wasn't going to do the type of business, women's cosmetics, that she was involved with. So I called him, got him to take a look, presented it to him up through the computer. He was a no. So I asked him, do you know someone? Because they all liked what they saw. The fourth person joined me in business. Now understand, it's the guest that I showed who referred me to someone, who referred me to someone, who referred me to someone who joined. This one didn't join, didn't become a customer because he's on one of those multi-year contracts, etc. Customer, consultant.
Wow.
Always ask, who do you know? Always.
We got to always do that, Coach. When I came in, you were doing a three-way call, and that's an important part of our business. If you're missing that step in your business and can't figure out why your business isn't growing, you might take a back look at the three-way call. You don't need to be answering the questions of your consultants, because it's not the way the system works. We appreciate you guys watching, guys. You're learning from a multi-millionaire in this business. You can't learn from anyone better. Thank you for watching. You guys have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.